right, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Community Connect, where we bring you the network of experts on topics you want to know about.
Oh
How you doing,
yeah,
Pash?
I'm doing great. How about you, Gerwin?
Doing fantastic. What's new in the world of Pash this week?
Too much to go into, but I mean, literally last night I got to go see a hockey game. I haven't seen a hockey game in years. And
Yeah,
the
which hockey
funny,
game was it? Who was
it
playing?
was the Rochester Amerks were playing. I don't even remember the team, Hudson Valley or something. We'll look it up if we need to. But interesting little tidbit. When I was invited to it, I let the person that actually we were having as our guest today. I was like, you know what? It's funny because the last time I've been to a hockey game at that stadium, that arena, it was a 6-5 score. And I'm like, it was the most goals, most people don't see 11 goals in a hockey game.
Yep.
So, and the winning team was a home team they scored the last goal to win it. Right.
Yes.
Well, guess what happened yesterday?
Come on. Did it really?
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I got there in 50 seconds left in the first period. It was 2-0. Our home team was losing. I got there. There's a little intermission, like I don't know if they're fixing the ice or whatever, or presentation. And then 13 seconds later, the Amerks scored. So it was just the beginning of the comeback, and they ended up winning 6-5. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people there. It was great.
That's great. We apparently the Amerks need to sign you as their lucky charm.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know about that. How about you?
You know what? Things are great. And you know this, but we've been kind of working on the 5 a.m. club thing, and it's actually been going super well. You and I are kind of accountability buddies, if you will, for that, and getting up early. And I've been really making sure my feet are on the ground, out of bed by a certain time. And I'm also doing this like push-up challenge where every day I add a push-up. So like literally January 1st I started. So like that was 1, then January 2nd was 2, and so on and so forth. And I used to barely be able to do 10 push-ups, and I do them as soon as I get out of bed. It's the first thing I do before I shower. I literally hit the floor, and not exactly in a row, but like I'm doing like 80 push-ups in sets of like 30s and 40s, which is just so cool, and compound effect. And it's a neat thing. I'm really enjoying my brain processing like that ability to just very slowly grow in what it can achieve when you just add small bits every day.
That's awesome. So you're referencing it real fast, is the 5 a.m. Club is by Robin Sharma. Highly recommend that book. It was referred to me, and is definitely impacting some changes that I like seeing in myself. And my wife's not complaining either about that. And then the compound effect, I believe, was Darren Hardy, if I'm not mistaken, wrote that book. And that is also something I've read in the past, where it's just about incremental changes. You make those little changes every day, and it just adds up to this massive change. So awesome. Absolutely. All right, then. Now, people that probably didn't tune in to hear all about us, but they wanted to see and hear from our guests. So without too much delay, we're going to just talk about Warren. Now, Warren Miller is our guest today. He is the VP of Business Banking over at Evans Bank. He has a resume that is, I could not do it justice in an hour. So I'm going to just highlight a couple of things from his experiences. He is a community business banker with over 25 years of experience in credit lending and finance trading. Warren enjoys helping improve the lives of his clients and the well-being of their businesses through financial solutions, education, and advice. Strong project management and business development background leadership is his passion, and I've seen that passion firsthand. And he dedicates time to helping nonprofits in the community. I've also participated with him in one or two of those. So couple fun ones. He is a skydiver. He has been a skydiver at the Ovid Airport. He was a trader on Chicago Board of Trades. He's with the Rock Dog nonprofit, Adopt a Grandparent, which is how I met Warren Miller, which is a great organization. Rochester Rotary Club of Downtown Center. He is the president. And again, the list could go on and on. So I'm not going to do it any justice there on my own. So we're going to now introduce Warren Miller to the stage. Good morning, Warren. How are you?
Oh, great. Good morning, Podge. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. And Greg, glad to be here with you. It's a great day. It's not snowing out.
Not anymore.
So it's all good. And last night the Amherst beat the Wolfpack, Hartford
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. They were first, they're first and second in the division, so it was kind of a nail biter. And we pulled it out twice.
Yes. Yep. And again, thank you for the invitation to that. So the reason why I think I like to at least remind folks and new guests that, the whole essence of the show is to connect the community to these resources they may not know are even available. And I was like, we need to have Warren on the show. And in what capacity, though? Because you just have so many hats that you wear. It's like, what is it that we want to highlight? And I guess we can try to do all of them justice. But number one, in my opinion, and maybe I should wait on that and just kind of ask you, before I say what my reason for bringing you here was, tell us a little bit about Warren and how Warren Miller got to where he is right now. Give us a little bit of your story.
Well, just life. It's been a long life. And I've always been like a historical person. I love history. And frankly, I feel like the last 20, 30 years, we've been living history, all the changes. And so banking, as a commodities trader, I was trading treasury bills. And I started out when mortgage interest rates were so high that we were looking for a way to lower interest rates. And I kind of got to work in college with a guy named Arthur Pierce, who invented adjustable rate mortgages. And I know they became a nightmare later because things happened that no one ever thought would happen because they were just looking for ways to move the housing market and help the economy grow. And from then on, it's just been balancing, what impacts the community best. And I'm happy to be on the show. Community Connect could be my personal philosophy every day, is to just get everybody connected and working together instead of competing with each other. Because if we all work on the community, we all profit for ourselves, but we leave a legacy that's going to be long standing. And I think that's kind of the most important thing for the kids in our future.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Warren. I think a lot of the mentality that I see, unfortunately, is individualistic, and really bringing it back to the community and others. And how do we help the entire community? A rising tide raises all ships, right? And I 100% agree with that.
Permission to steal that.
yeah, please.
So, how about your family? When were you born here? Was your family born here? All that?
I was homeborn here in Rochester. My parents were born in New York City and moved here back in the day, sort of thing. My mother was actually in radio and was a broadcaster and went on the road a lot with bands and things for tours at the time. And my dad was a cigar maker. He became a cigar salesman for Dutch Masters and Muriel's, and worked all of New York State for selling cigars back when that was a big deal.
So when did you learn that you had this knack or desire to be a connector? Because that's what I literally called you. Is you are the human community connector. That's how I
when I went to school at the U of R, and I ended up in Chicago on the Chicago Board of Trade. And that was probably the greatest experience for connecting, if you will, because you really, it's not there anymore, the Chicago Board of Trade. It was basically, it was a trading exchange for pork bellies and cows, treasury bills, gold, silver. And so all those exchanges had a floor that people traded on. And to see how they all interconnected with each other and created like a global ecosystem was amazing. And that was probably like, it just, it's like being able to multitask, is the word today. You just kind of can look at things and see where they all work together in a symbiotic relationship, so that we're all like doing the same thing for a community environment.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So where does Evans Bank, play a role in all the things that kind of, that's what you kind of are to me, is that connecting person. And now you're also a VP of business banking. So talk to us about that a little bit more.
In a comparison, a community bank is different than a savings and loan or a regional bank or an international bank like Chase. All of our deposits are lent out in the community that we live and work in exclusively. That's the only thing we do. And so we're very active and have a vested interest in making sure the community grows and thrives. So, along with our customer service and our branch network, and giving personal one-on-one service to everybody that banks with us, we're very active in communities of Rochester, helping to grow them or work with nonprofits, working with the city of Rochester, downtown Rochester, Rochester Development Corporation, RDDC, has a project to boost downtown Rochester right now. We're very active in wanting to support and participate in anything that's going to make Rochester a better city.
Wonderful.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so let me ask this, because I remember first seeing the name Evans Bank here in Rochester, maybe only a couple of years ago, right? There was a billboard, Evan,
Right.
I think Evans Banks at Evans Bank or something like that, right? I remember that billboard there. So how long have you actually been in the area?
Evans Bank started out in Evans, New York, down by Fredonia,
Mm-hmm.
back in 1905.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was literally a farm bank helping farmers get through the Depression and all that.
Mm-hmm.
As time progressed, we moved our headquarters up to Buffalo, and we have 14 branches in the Buffalo market.
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago, just before COVID, we negotiated, because we were doing so much lending in Rochester, to buy brick and mortar, and we bought Fairport Savings and Loan.
Got it.
Fairport Savings and Loan, we took that over, and 2 weeks after COVID, we reopened it as Evans Bank. And everybody had to work from home, and we had to do computers to make the transfers. And we talk about weathering this storm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, so now 4 years later, we kind of got a list of accomplishments, and we're just growing strong. And hopefully the community starting to see all the benefits that we've been bringing.
Yeah, that's great. And so really you will have a full suite of products that you offer: mortgages,
Oh yeah,
all the way to obviously bank accounts and
wealth
CDs and
management.
anything a bank, anything Chase or ESL or whatever can do. Evans Bank does and does it in the community specifically.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do. Our focus, my focus is small business. And so we've worked on like developing a product to help small businesses that can kind of balance the risk that we do for lending with the struggles that small businesses have to deal with every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I spend a lot of my time connecting, because everybody I work with, I try to leverage each other to help each other grow and work together when I see matching businesses or events that everybody can participate in. Training possibilities. We do something called financial fitness in all the high schools for the city of Rochester, suburbs, and the charter schools. Just helping kids learn immediately how to balance checking accounts and how to negotiate everything, so that as they grow up, they've kind of got that extra added street lessons of how to do things and grow and realize they have other opportunities available to them.
That is such a skill that I think is missing in our largely in our educational system, is just day-to-day finances.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just day-to-day living requirements. Like, didn't there used to be something called home ec? Like
Right.
we never saw that when I was at school as a student, and then when I was teaching for 20 years, we never covered that stuff. So, and even the empathy side of things, teaching the children to learn how to deal with their feelings and emotions, that's becoming way more acceptable and part of curriculum now, but that never was the case.
Well, quite innocently too, there's things, cause and effects that we don't think about. I like talk to like a lot of 18, 19-year-olds that have never been in a bank branch. And then you realize, well, in the last 20 years, everything's drive-through.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I'd ride my bicycle to the bank and go make a deposit and have an old passbook and bring it home. And you could open your bank accounts from elementary school.
Wow.
In today's world, parents have a lot more jobs to do. They're busier. Everybody goes through the drive-through, and nobody realizes the kid in the back seat has never walked into a bank branch, but doesn't know what it looks like, has no idea what it's all about.
Drive through, or just use their phone.
Banking. Exactly right.
Right. Well, that was when you said that, Warren. I was like, man, I wonder if there'll ever be like an Uber for banking. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I need cash for this weekend I have coming up or whatever. I don't want to go to a bank. I'll just order, $200 cash on my phone and have it delivered to me.
We're trademarking that right now. So anybody watching this, you cannot take this idea, okay?
But to that point, I heard something. I'm curious if you have any insight into this from the banking perspective. Largely over the last, I don't know how many years, but definitely most of my life, things have been switching more and more away from cash into plastic, right? Or just digital. But this year is the first year I heard it and actually saw a statistic that things are actually just starting to switch back to cash because vendors, right, restaurants and stores and whatnot, are hit with so many credit card charges and percentages that they're actually offering discounts on products for using cash. And so people are now starting to carry cash a little bit more. It's not, the needle hasn't shifted significantly. Have you seen that at all from your perspective?
Absolutely. One of the new things in credit card use is a lot of vendors. If you go to the restaurant, you'll see on your check an additional charge. The credit card processing is showing them how to pass the cost on to the consumer.
Yeah.
And so your bill is higher besides tax with the credit card surcharges. So that's why people are paying more cash when they're aware of it. And same thing, cause and effect. I call it the casino effect. If you're at a casino and you're playing blackjack at a table and they're bringing you drinks and you have $5 chips, you give the girl a $5 tip, where maybe it'd be $1 at a bar because they're chips, they're not money to you.
Yep.
And that's what happens when you're not, when you have cash in your hand, you're like, do I really want to let go of this cash for this overpriced whatever?
Yep.
And maybe yes, maybe no. But you think about it. When you have a credit card or a debit card, it's not money. So you just toss it up there. And as long as it goes through, you bought whatever you bought. And you don't think about the trade or the exchange of the item for value.
Yeah.
I've seen at some restaurant, one of the restaurants we just went to, it's because I had already in a few occasions seen where they had the additional cost for the credit card.
Right.
Well, at this restaurant we just went to, they must have gotten complaints. I was like, how did they come up with this? And it says, like Greg just worded it, as a discount. You can have this sandwich for $5 less.
Yeah.
I was like, that's amazing.
Yep. So instead of tacking on money, they're taking off
if
money.
you use credit card, we're charging you more. We'll give you a discount by using cash.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. It's very psychological.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, so Warren, I have to ask too. I'm going to switch topics just slightly here, but in the intro, Jim mentioned that you're a skydiver.
Used to be. I haven't in about 20 years, but
Okay.
that was an adrenaline rush. When I was younger, like skiing the wall or doing, whatever for that rush of adrenaline and going through your body and head. Yeah, I used to Ovid Airport, which at the time was kind of a bunch of hippies that hung out and just skydived all day long. And you could go out there on a weekend, and once you jumped in tandem, you just get hooked, and you just kept doing it until you were jumping on your own.
Man.
And yeah, the thought of falling out of a plane and falling 100 feet a second for about 5,000 feet till every bone in your body aches, but then you pull the ripcord and you're just hanging there in the middle of the sky, yin and yang, overlooking the horizon.
Yeah.
And it's just the most incredibly peaceful moment that I've ever experienced in my life. And so I kept chasing that for a while. But then as you get older and weight distributes and all that good stuff, you kind of back off a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. Anybody who willingly jumps out of an airplane, to me, just a little crazier than
Yeah.
the norm.
Well,
But
and
that's
it's
really cool.
funny. You had said earlier that like you're working on push-ups, and I read the book. I get up at 5 a.m. And I actually doing the same thing. The book I was reading is How to Build Muscle once you reach the age of 50,
Okay.
and how and your diet and how you eat protein, and how Chuck Norris is like 84 years old and can beat us all up at once.
Yeah.
Right.
So I kind of watch. I watch his stuff, and if he says he takes he's selling these vitamins, I take whatever he takes
Yep. That's
and
a
do the
lot.
workout. Try to
Yeah.
do the workouts he does, because that's my new mission in life.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
So we've spent some time talking about the banking. Again, we could delve in more aspects there, especially with a small business and how you support that. And, I love that. But on our thumbnail, we talk about networking too. And I wonder if you have any advice, because I know that you're a connector. What advice you have to folks who are not comfortable? Because I'm sure you've met business people that don't have the same outward, persona. They're uncomfortable in those. Do you have any advice on, maybe prioritizing what they could do, or how to maybe increase the awareness of their business?
Not to sound candid, but honestly, what I tell people once, I've talked to them is, show up with a positive attitude. If you just show up, I don't care where, what, how, just show up with an attitude of inquiry and wanting to help. There's a book, Giver's Gain. Just show up with that mentality, and the rest will take care of itself. It really works, and that's why we launched Downtown Center City Rotary. Rotary started out as like a business club where businessmen got together to meet each other to do business, but at the same time they wanted to do something for the community, and that grew into like a international organization. It's cured polio in the world, done amazing things, and so we launched Downtown so that all the downtown small businesses and everybody in the Rochester area, we made it affordable for them to join, so that they can have a voice and feel heard. And it's not as you don't have to be as outgoing, because everybody comes up to you and wants to make you feel welcome. And so it's a small business family downtown.
Yeah.
And same thing that connects. We have a project downtown. We're waiting for the city to vote on is the bid, which is a business investment development from the federal government, and all the small businesses are lobbying to try to get this through to beautify the roads, make more safety downtown, have outdoor bathrooms, that type of thing.
I love that. It's such a great project, and I know there have been incremental changes downtown. Parcel 5, that whole area for a while.
The commissary.
Yep, absolutely. And I think the next big push is the bid, exactly what you're talking about, right?
Right.
It's the next evolution and step in downtown here. I live down close to that area, and I'm really excited for that.
And I try to tell people in the that are 50 like myself. We grew up with a downtown where it was magic. The Sibley building had a rocket ship elevator up to Toyland, and the walkthroughs and
the Unareal,
monorail. The
yeah,
monorail in Midtown
the
Plaza.
monorail, the monorail, exactly. Yep.
So there's an emotional connection, and those are great memories. And it was the best downtown to grow up in, I think, in the world to people that lived here. The downtown today is starting to, it's not the same. It's a different 2024 downtown, but it's just as becoming as exciting and the growth, all the restaurants at the commissary now downtown, which is the old Sibley's. Chase Towers. People we're living in the high towers downtown. Lots and lots of resident. 10,000 people now live in downtown Rochester.
Yeah.
Nice. And the food is exciting. The nightlife is getting exciting.
Yeah.
And the lights outside. And last night, when we left the hockey game, you could see the buildings in blue and gold.
Mm-hmm.
For the Amerks, you could see, all the outdoor LED lighting. That's something brand new that we can turn the whole city into whatever colors we want, anytime we want.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that specifically, you were speaking of our community, about our show. When we use the word community, it could be our country. It could be our world. And, so if I was starting a new business, and I am in another city let's say I'm in California, and I don't know where to start as far as getting the word out there. What would you recommend I do in order to try and get embedded into the community? What things would you recommend?
Any town USA, every town has a chamber of commerce. And all chambers of commerces are connected to the National Chamber of Commerce. There are 80 million small businesses in the United States right now that participate with the Chamber of Commerce across the country. So by joining the local chamber, you're connected to the entire country of chambers. And you can reach out to people or attract people of whatever you're looking to do. And I say that's usually step one, because from there, you'll find the nonprofit small business association locally in your town. In Rochester, we have an incredible small business association, Small Business Development Corporation, all located downtown. And in the Brockport University building, there's free support where you can get a QuickBooks at no charge for a small startup business. You can get RIT, Center for Urban Entrepreneurship. There's one in every town. California has their colleges doing it, promoting small business and helping you with your business plan, helping you with the accounting, doing a canvas of identifying what your passions are and what type of people you need to connect with. The assets that are available that people just are not aware of is always incredible. And if you just show up, you're going to learn about all those things. And all those people are trying to greet you, put their arms around you, and help you.
Yeah.
Because the promotion of small business is the equalizer for everybody. 80 million small businesses, that's enough to elect the president of the United States in votes. So that is the power of the people, and every individual being able to have mobility up and down the income scales. And so that's why small business is so important to me, because I feel that's going to help everybody blindly. If you have a product or a service, that's all that matters, is that it's a good product or a good service. And the rest is just, working your business or being passionate about what you do.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that passion part. I just think if you just really want to do what you're doing, there's a big difference. And then if it's genuinely, and you've said this a few times, if it's about others, how are you helping other people? If that's really the core value. And so even if it's a product that helps people and you're just I just want people to have this so that they're feeling better, their back is better, whatever it is. If that's really your core belief, and there's other people that you might not even know are there that have a similar belief, and you unite. It just seems such a natural flow there. If you just, hey, we all can help people together, So I love that.
Exactly right. I always lead when people tell me what they do or what they're trying to do. Same thing. It resonates, and so I always try to lead with how can I help.
Yeah. How can I help you? Yeah, instead of just what can you do for me?
Right.
That's what I feel like we're kindred souls, Warren. That's what I've always said about networking. I've taught, a few classes here and there, but the biggest thing is when you meet someone new, it's what can I do for you? How can I help you?
Right.
What can I do to offer you something or connect you with somebody, whatever that is. The biggest mistake I think people make is when they're in those situations, they're thinking about themselves, and it's the wrong way to go about it. Because like we were talking about earlier, it's a community, and our goal is to help the community. So
community, and in a way, the community is like one big bank you put deposits in, and your checks come back without even having to think about it. As long as you just every day, how can I put something in? The rest will happen on its own.
Yes.
You got it.
Yep, absolutely. So we definitely respect your time. And like I said at the beginning, we definitely have not touched every aspect of what value you provide to our community and to people. And before we go and kind of go into our Connect 4 questions, is there anything else you would like to
I just want to thank you guys for letting me have a voice here. And I feel, Greg, same thing. I think we're all kindred spirits, and whatever we can do to help you guys get this out there and make people aware. I'm more than happy to do it. I'm not sure how your show works, but maybe we can put a link on our website for it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, the goal is that there's unknown people that are no faces to us right now that we know could benefit from what we're trying to do. And it doesn't have to be just in Monroe County. It doesn't have to be in Orleans County. It can be anywhere. Like I said, it could be theoretically be anywhere in the world, that someone sees something. And what I'm hoping, this is maybe far-fetched, but perhaps them hearing you or any of our guests, they relate to you better than their brain and say, well, because their brain sometimes says, I can't do that. Or how do I do that? And all of a sudden they see someone, they go, wow, some tidbit, some communication that just came across goes to them. I'm now motivated, I'm inspired, and now I can implement this thing that's already been founded to work here in this location. Why not do it in our community? You know what I mean? So that's what I like, goosebumps I get just thinking of the potential. This is where the internet, and YouTube, like we did not plan on being YouTube people or anything like that, but our goal is, and I said it the last episode, it's a pure goal. It's like, just share, right? There's so much negative in our world, right? Share the good.
I hate to sound like a connector again, but Rochester has sister cities in France, Italy, England, all over Europe. What fun to find a way to like communicate with something like this and like how everything operates around the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if this, like right now, I think we have 15 subscribers, and it's not that I track it or that, but just we notice it, right? So as that goes up, YouTube pops it to more people. When more people see it, then I have a feeling this is what I think is going to happen. It's already starting to happen, where people are reaching out to us to say, hey, I didn't know that this might be of value to the community, but I do this thing. Maybe you want me to highlight what I do. I'm sure. Let's talk about it. So anyway, that's fantastic. And we're privileged that you were able to come on the show and you decided to share some time with us. Yeah. So we really appreciate it. And who knows, we may invite you back for a follow-up, maybe a different topic. If you're
I'd be honored for that.
Awesome. I could probably talk to you for hours about mortgages and treasuries, Warren. So
Greg, I'll definitely look forward to talking to you again. And I was thinking maybe have you guys as speakers for one of our luncheons for downtown Rotary.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
We'll be glad to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so now get your brain ready because it's time for Connect 4. So you stretch your brain. Here we go.
All right. Number 1, Warren, what is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Guilty pleasure TV store. Right now, it's Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Yep, that's a good one. I know that's a popular one too.
All right, all right. How about what book or podcast are you going through right now?
Actually, right now, I'm reading a book called The Art of Persuasion, and it's about win-win negotiations and making people feel good.
Yep,
It's working.
it's a good one. Warren, I know the answer to this one already, but we'll see. What is your superpower? And by superpower, as a reminder to our guests and our those watching, this is just something that you naturally do better than anyone else. It's not like flying or invisibility. It's like, what do you
You
just
know,
naturally do?
I gotta say, it's connecting people. I'm an addict. I can't even walk into a bar and people are talking at the bar, and I gotta go. No, you have to talk to this person.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
I love it.
awesome. And I've seen this in live action. The final question. This one is, what is a habit that you would like to improve on? So basically, it doesn't have to be a bad habit, but something that you'd like to do better. Something.
Working out, the Chuck Norris, getting a body by the time we're out on the water this summer.
Oh my God! I'm picturing Arnold Schwarzenegger, or when they on Saturday Night Live, they used to do the Hans and Franz. I'm Hans, you're Franz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Warren, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you guys for having me. It was wonderful.
Yep, we're gonna now banish you to the green room, and
okay, thank you.
Thank you again.
And thank you everybody for listening.
Yep, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. He is awesome. I love talking to him.
I told you.
Yeah.
Well, you wait till you meet this guy.
We're gonna have to have him back, I'm sure, at some point, because
sure
we barely scratched the surface
Yep.
with him, and like there's a whole world that he lived in when he was trading treasuries and commodities and whatnot. I mean, that is a crazy world that I barely know anything about. I just know it is really interesting, and so. Yeah.
Well, and we didn't even really talk too much about the nonprofits that he's a part of, so that I think could be a whole separate, how do you create one? Because I know he's assisted others with that. So definitely, I just wrote it down.
Absolutely.
That will do. So anyway, with that in mind, and what a great show. Thank you, Gerwin. I think we really got to learn a lot today.
I definitely learned a lot. So I wrote down some notes. I got books I got to look up. I got some things I got to research. So yeah, appreciate it. All you out there. Thank you for watching as always. And as always, please subscribe. I don't know where the buttons are ever, but subscribe, like, share. Again, that's the best way that you can help us if you like what we're doing. Also, comment, let us know what we can do better on this. And we're always listening. So we really appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.